To me, um, to me, I honestly, I don't know. I know Peter Dow and what he was back in the day. I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he's had an evolution and has now sees the light. But with that said, to me, the issue for me is not necessarily Peter Dow. I don't really think it's the right choice. To me, if you are going to make real progress, get past 5%. I don't think the bar should be 5%. I think you should be shooting for more than 5%. You're really going to have to run a non-traditional campaign. What I mean by that is I think Cornel West has a real opportunity to reach non-voters, because a lot of non-voters are, poor Black people, poor Hispanic people, indigenous people, poor white people, just poor people. And who's the only person talking about poverty? Cornel West. Who's the person traveling to Mississippi, a gazillion times? And I think that message can work. And I think you really need somebody who has experience in, I know it became a dirty word because of Obama, but like actual community organizing, not just like being a manager, but how to organize communities, because you're going to have to go into, areas that don't have, a strong record of voting. You're going to have to go into areas that have been left behind. That doesn't mean you're not going to target, he said he wants to Cornel said he wants to go to Trump country. I think he could try to target some religious voters because he kind of talks in religious tones. But to me, the biggest opportunity is getting non-voters, immigrants. Bernie did a good job in Iowa in 2020. His campaign did these satellite caucuses, and they got in Iowa, Somali Americans and Muslim Americans, and that's part of how he won Iowa. He did win Iowa. Sorry, Pete. So I think you need somebody who really knows how to actually organize. I don't really know if Peter, he's worked in politics, but that's not organizing. And even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I don't think he's just tweeting for the last 6 months to a year that he's seen the light. I don't think he's faking it, but I don't really know if you've had a lifer in politics, I don't know if that's the right person to run a non-traditional campaign of what I'm describing.
Yeah, I reached out a while ago to the contact that I thought that I had at that campaign, and I offered to help in terms of setting up a strategy to do service-based campaign around the country, because I think that's what they need to do. I think they need to, between college campuses and doing something like Bernie's Barnstormers, but you then need to turn that around and create like a service corps that's going into the communities and talking with people and helping people. That creates your organization that will outlast your campaign. That's how you create a community movement. And I reached out. I said that, I suggested it. I'm so happy to come and help set that up, like how we sort of did that here. And I can't get a response. So all I can say is I'm trying to put out this, because I can see what needs to happen almost in my head. And the idea of going along some traditional partisan type path, like I call them the WCCC now, like the white collar campaign carnies. And, these guys are just not with solving the problem. They're just about collecting a paycheck. So I just think that if you're going to go that road, it's not going to yield any different results than we've seen in the past.
And there's also this huge problem with people not recognizing where the real strength comes from. It's almost like if you are in Dr. West's shoes because of his disposition and how he articulates himself, the type of person he needs running his campaign is like a Sean Fain. You need that type of barnstorming leader, take no prisoners, organizing figure that can really get people going. It's almost like the yin and the yang type of thing, and that isn't what's happening here. Jen is often saying,
I mean, I don't think Cornell needs somebody to tell him this. He said he plans on it. But if I were his campaign right now, numero one would be, we need to be on the front lines at this UAW strike. And we need to be at other strikes. And we need to be part of other union actions because the media can't resist covering him. So they will cover him. They'll probably, spin it. But bottom line, that's where the energy is at outside of and I don't know if that's a fact. You're not the first person I've heard that from, Jen, that they reached out. How do they get involved volunteering or, get involved, period? And they didn't hear back. I think for a while they're just
fine. That's not a good sign. When somebody reaches out and says, I have some really good ideas, I'd like to share, I'd like to help, I would at least think it's worthy of a response.
Yeah. And then of course the worst part is that this decision could not have been made at a worse time because of the interview that just happened at the end of last week, and this whole big divisive crap that usually starts from one person, and then it becomes this whole, see, I told you so, and I cannot wait to hear. It's not going to help because he's going to put a video out there basically saying, see, I was right about Dr. West. You should all listen to me because I know everything there is to know about politics. In fact, I should be the one running. I'm just too damn lazy to get off my ass. So I want everyone else to just follow me and do.
When I first worked for Hillary Clinton, describing me as the liaison to the repressive network, Netroots. My whole thing was a part of this community. Maybe I can bring the ethos into the establishment. So my start in politics was anti-war activism, and I sort of got sucked into the system. Now, I made the mistake that I'm seeing people I respect making, which is I thought, I can bring this Netroots and progressive grassroots energy into the system, and we'll change the system. Sure enough, 20 years later, I didn't change the system changed me. And I'm sitting here attacking my progressive friends, defending Hillary Clinton. And
just a quick refresher again, because I'll be trying playing these videos in their full entirety, these various segments in their full entirety. But this is the man who was leading the charge against all of us during the 2016 Democratic primary. Now, again, if all of us knew what we knew then, at least all of us knew what we know now, then I'm pretty sure a lot of us would not be wasting our time or associating ourselves with the cuck known as Bernie Sanders. And a lot of things happened under Peter Dow's watch, especially being associated with the Clinton campaign. And I got to be very careful with these words. Shout out to Misty, our wonderful fellow colleague, Misty Winston, in which a lot of Facebook pages were taken down because some scumbag that worked with the Clinton campaign that probably knew Peter Dow, put in some very questionable material on those Facebook pages that caused them all to get taken down. Again, I have to tiptoe around the subject because of YouTube guidelines, but if you want, you could talk about it in the chat. Just, it's not good. Which is why I have a lot of red flags. That's why when I heard Cornel West picked him, so many red flags flew up that I swear I thought I was at a Soviet parade.
I want to say up front, I'm very sorry about the things I did then, because I was a very, very sort of like vigorous advocate. I'm loyal. I'm Lebanese, right? It's like you're in the trenches with someone, you're fighting, but I was just wrong because I was attacking my own friends who were Bernie Sanders supporters. When I first started, Bernie, Paul Wellstone, people like that were my idols, right? So here I am, and I had to do a lot of soul searching. So I was viciously attacked. I look back at those days. I look at Jimmy Dore and others. They despised me at the time. A lot of the left
Despise you. There's a lot of people that hate you now, baby. Come on. Don't listen. Again, throughout this entire interview, he sounds like a used car salesman.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of, and we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth, Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
Welcome to a Saturday edition of Straight Out of Politics. We can't really call this, because normally this would be Shoot the Shit Saturdays, but considering the topic, I think this is better we go with Straight Out of Politics for today's podcast today. So Straight Out of Politics, I'll put the banner up in a second. Two stories only covering today, maybe do about an hour, 70 minutes, something like that. Not an hour and 70 minutes, an hour or 60 to 70 minutes. Let's do it that way. So that's the target for today's show. Let me put the graphic up here. graphic for today's show is this one here. 2 topics, like I said, and what you see on the screen, the phrase you see is audacity of ruling class. I think it's the audacity of the ruling class. And it kind of covers, is an umbrella phrase that fits both topics. And let me explain. So we have Obama coming out with some ridiculous, so we know what's happening in Libya, and considering the state of Libya even before this natural disaster, it wasn't in good condition anyway. And then Obama comes out and tweets about it, and everybody's dragging him like he's getting destroyed on this tweet. So that's the audacity of the ruling class, the audacity of this guy, the guy who turned this country into a slave state from the most prosperous country in Africa at the time. And he has the audacity to come out to do that. So we'll talk about that. But the main story we'll talk about is the Russell Brand news. And that is that he is being accused of, I believe I could say RAPE. Let me just say that. And some other things. I did see, did I see Heartlands in the comments? Did I see you, Kit? Am I imagining, or did I see Kit in the comments earlier? All right, but anyway, we'll be covering this story with Russell Brand, and the reason I feel like the title of The Audacity of the Ruling Class fits with the Russell Brand story, because this is how I'm approaching. I need to hear more of what's going on before I can say I believe the victims, or I believe this guy, and this is part of some sort of ruling class smear job, like what they did with Julian Assange. This is exactly what they did with Julian Assange. So that is a very real possibility, considering where we're at right now. We have Joe Biden, because you could ask yourself, well, if they wanted to come after him for this, that happened years ago, why they didn't do it months ago? Because it's they're realizing that they're going in the last 12 months of the presidential election. Anything goes. And they're realizing both sides is turning up the notches. Oh, you guys want to drop 91 counts on Trump? Okay, here's impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden, and here's some charges for Hunter Biden. So each side is turning up the notch, and anyone outside of the red blue who's fucking up this shit is a target. Anyone. RBN has been a target. You saw us on Mediaite.com when we covered the article. A lot of people are a target. Convo Couch is a target because of Fiorella's work over in Moscow. And of course, Nico House. Then you got Jimmy Dore. There's so many of us that we're a target because we're post-duop. We don't give a fuck about this red blue shit that y'all care so fiercely about. We don't care. So we're going to show the people, the workers, the poor, the average everyday Joe person, what's really going on with these two people, with these two groups of people fighting for power in the most corrupt way through a corrupt system. So here we go. So that's the point of view I'm saying, is that we don't know. We can examine Russell's story through the lens that this could possibly be. It's a high likelihood that this could be a ruling class smear job in the sense that it's a Julian Assange. So yeah. So anyway, before I keep talking more and more, because I could talk on and on about this. And the thing is, this just fell in my lap. So some of the articles I've only read like a paragraph or two of it, because all of this, I woke up and I'm like, Russell Brand, kept seeing Russell Brand, and then I see this story is a big story. So we're gonna see. All right, so you see what Russell Brand sort of comes out and says, this is a time-honored sort of tradition by the ruling class to use allegations of the nature like this motorcycle passing by the house. So allegations of the natures like this to bring down somebody that's critiquing the ruling class. And that is where, to me, one of the reasons a allegation like this I would even frame it this way is because if Julian Assange didn't drop what he dropped about the United States empire, if he never did that in those allegations, then I would be like, okay, let's believe the victim before, and then hear the evidence. And then if the victim is not, if we come to believe that the victim is not telling the truth, then we can go ahead and change our mind and say, hey, this is what we think now. But if the person is specifically a person who is tasked, who has a task, who has done a deed, I should say in the past tense for Julian Assange, or is doing deeds currently, and that's Russell Brand, of critiquing the establishment, and then allegations come out like this when he's been, like, these allegations aren't from last week. Why wouldn't these allegations come out 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago? You get what I'm saying? You get the point that I'm saying. So that's the reason why this is even put in that framing, in my opinion. So, but let's go to let's go to this one. This is the Times. The Times, how did they say this? The Times and the Sundays Times, I guess. Is that how they say it? Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch videos here and play. Where is that one at? I think it's this one. All right. So this is a 6-minute video. I'm trying to get the actual name. What is the name of this here? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll say the name in the video, but let's listen to it. So this is, I believe this is the reporter or the news outlet that had broke the story. I believe. I just don't remember the name, but let's see. It'll say it in the video, I believe. Let's see.
Following a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times,
Sunday
and Channel 4
Times.
Dispatches.
So the reason it's that way is a joint sort of thing, I guess, by two different media outlets. Both of these are outlets overseas, not American-bred propaganda machines.
A number of women have broken their silence about what they allege Russell Brand left out of that book. These women have made a range of accusations about Brand's behavior between 2004 and 2013. The full allegations include rape, sexual assault, emotional and physical abuse, sexual harassment, controlling behavior, and bullying. Brand, now 48, became a household name in the mid-2000s with his stand-up comedy and TV presenting. Hollywood beckoned, and he dabbled in political activism too.
You've got to vote Labour.
In recent
I'm
years,
gonna
Brand
put
has
this on the big
reinvented
screen.
himself,
I'm still
moving
here,
into the
but
worlds of wellness and
let's
online
put this on the
misinformation.
big screen here.
I began researching allegations against him after I became aware of rumours on the UK comedy circuit about his behaviour. I was joined by my colleague Charlotte Wace, who has extensively investigated Brand's behaviour after he moved to Los Angeles in about 2010. One of his alleged victims was put in touch with Charlotte by an acquaintance of the woman. The acquaintance had heard we were investigating allegations of abuse. We are calling the alleged victim Nadia to protect her anonymity. Nadia says that she and Brand had consensual sex once, in June 2012. A few days later, Brand asked her to come to his home in West Hollywood. When Nadia arrived, she says that Brand emerged naked from a bedroom. He told her there was another woman there and he wanted her to join them. She refused. The following excerpt, voiced by an actress, is her account.
I must say here, and this is what my wife sends me videos, so she'll send me my wife watches I used to watch a lot of Instagram videos. She sends me these videos on the Great Reset, and all of the videos always had a cinematic feature to the video where there's music, there's weird lighting to give it a certain effect. And I said, you got to send me something. If you want me to believe something, you got to send me something without all of that. Because it's a clear attempt to sway emotionally the viewer or reader. So the fact that a news outlet is reporting such serious allegations like this with an actress reading that shit, to me, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign as far as this is likely a smear job by the ruling powers that be because of what he does. Because remember, they said these are allegations. I think the last one was 2013. So you have to, nothing that comes out in media is a coincidence. Ask yourself, why is this coming out? Does it have, what big event is going on in the next year but the election? And you see the how scared the ruling class is that Donald Trump is very close to becoming or getting reelected again. They will, and you think they won't, they're bringing 91 charges against this guy. Not to say that he's not guilty of all 91 charges, it's to say that everybody in the town, everybody on Capitol Hill could have 91 charges, at least. This don't, I mean, the actress thing is a strike against the story for me. I'm not telling you guys to look through it the same way that I do, but this is before this. And I gave you the story about me and my wife. That is just, to me, that's a big red flag that they are having an actress, because they're trying to gain sympathy by acting it through, by giving it emotions in places they believe needs to be. And then the lighting and all this stuff. Let's continue and watch a little more of this and see what else. So we're about halfway through the video. Let's watch some more.
But I wouldn't suggest it. That would be horrible. If I suggested it, now that's improper.
And then I knew at that point that, like, he didn't care about hurting me physically or emotionally or any of it. He just was, it took me, I was like, I know that it shouldn't take you having to punch someone and to win them. To get them off you, it shouldn't be a physical fight.
To corroborate their accounts, we've spoken to family members and to friends, seen private emails and text messages, and viewed medical and therapists' notes. Brand, who recently celebrated 20 years of sobriety, had previously claimed to be a sex addict and has often made jokes about his predatory behaviour.
Things are going very well in America. I've got a couple of films coming up in which I don't have to highlight that I was a dreadful drug addict and philanderer.
These women's stories, told publicly for the first time, shine a light on Brand's alleged mistreatment of women and on a TV and comedy industry which helped to enable him.
All righty. All right. So that's the first video, not sort of video. That's the first video I was going to play. Russell Brand. We're going to actually go to Twitter now. Pick up some more stories. Because, of course, the NATO left, who hates Russell Brand jumped on this story. And that's one of the first, I think it was the Surfs. One of the first tweets I saw about this. was the Surfs. Is that how you say their name? Surfs? I know Nick calls them the Smurfs, but I don't think that's the actual name. I think it's the Surfs, right? Russell Brand. And then I'm gonna do a search also just to see, because this is literally just coming out. Here's another Vote Blue No Matter Who guy. I forget his name, but you recognize him. Here goes the search. This is what I saw first, but let's see if there's another video first. 1 second, please. Got a variety of people. So let's look at some reaction, and then we'll get into some of the news stories here. So let's see what's some of the reaction of people. And I saved a couple, but I'm gonna do a search and look for some more. Here is Comrade Misty. Comrade Misty, friend of the show, friend of the network. A lot of you know who Comrade Misty is. She says, "This is insane. If you dare to speak against power, they will seek to ruin your life." And that is Misty saying that there. Let's scroll up here. I got a bunch of windows open. And this is one of the articles where I got the picture from that we were using. This is the Times UK, and that's also where we got the title. Maybe I should change this title and take the RAPE out. The allegations against, and then that's where I got that. So thank Jack's page. And then here is Saeed Mohammed Marandi, and a lot of you have seen him. Great. I believe he's Iranian activist. Why am I not surprised they used the same weapon against Julian Assange? So you see it there. Actually, let me take this word out, or maybe put a little weird characters. Sure. The algorithm doesn't pick it up. All right, so I changed the title slightly so that word is a little bit more obscure. So here's Glenn Greenwald, and we're going to read this thread here of Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald says, "Here's the person whom the absolute dumbest people on this website today are claiming is right-wing Russell Brand. Their brains are completely broken, binary, and stunted, incapable of understanding that one can understand the world beyond Mitch McConnell versus Nancy Pelosi, because what they're saying is, see, look at, he's right wing. That's what and you'll see some of the tweets when I get to like the Surf's tweets. You'll see what Glenn Greenwald is referring to. If by reading it, it doesn't jog a memory or anything. Let's go through some of these headlines. Russell Brand backs Jeremy Corbyn in Labor leadership race. Russell Brand and Jeremy Corbyn join Human Chain to support Julian Assange. Russell Brand slammed by anti-Semitism campaigners for platforming Corbyn apologists. You know who that was? That was Aaron Mate, is the Corbyn apologist they're talking about. And this is Russell. It says, in part 2 of my Under the Skin conversation with Edward Snowden, he reveals the mind-blowing methods by which you are constantly surveilled by your phone. What do you think? So I guess he's just showing some things about Russell, because that's what's going on the internet about attacking him around this, is that he's right wing. I mean, that's the critique of anybody who's on the left. We get the same critique. Jimmy Dore gets the same critique. You're right wing if you're to the left of the Democratic Party. And I think we're going to be going to Glenn Greenwald to also the Obama story. He has some good receipts on there too. Wow, that's in a different language here. I thought there was another thread Maybe they're not. Maybe I have it mixed up with another person, but let me just make sure. Yeah, I think I have it mixed up with another person. All right, let's go back to the rest of the reaction. And then that's him putting this out himself. That has 100. Wow, 34 million people have viewed this, 105,000 likes. Oh, here's the search right here. Okay, so here we go. The Russell Brand RAPE allegations are really bad. They include grooming and raping a 16-year-old and tons of corroborated testimony, including women who went to rape crisis centers. There's hundreds of sources cited, and again, was apparently an industry secret everyone knew. So, and then here goes Vaush. I didn't even know Vaush. So Vaush, you saw what you see what I mean? All the NATO left is coming out. See. That's all the NATO left, the Serbs. I'm gonna do a check on YouTube and see if they've already gotten anything out on the regular NATO left channels. Here's Vaush. Yeah, but have you considered the possibility that the deep state set all this up because he got too close to the truth or something? Wow. That's Vaush. Vaush coming in with a little bit of have you considered this sort of news? And that's what I'm saying too. Like, we don't know either way. I'm just saying, have you considered this? Because this is what the deep state, like Vaush, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Vaush right here. Or he's agreeing with me. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. But yes, to his point. Let's continue. I'm glad I scrolled down to see that. I don't get this. And he's going on to ivermectin. What is happening here? Going back to the same fights. Like, just stay focused. Stay focused on this topic. So Jay can have a linear show that makes it easy. But here goes. Gracie, they're coming for Russell because he didn't push the mainstream narrative. Step out of line and they come for your career. We all know he's been a promiscuous. We all know he's had a promiscuous past, but he had made huge changes in his life since and is probably a better person than most of us. I hope he, hold on, sues Channel 4. Is this person in the UK? Let me see. No, if they are. He's a good man. Unlike most of these comedians that Channel 4 have regularly on their channel, so maybe, because I'm thinking she's referring to Channel 4, but they push a certain jab, anti-Tory, yeah, so that lets you know, anti-Tory, say the right things, and so therefore they're protected. All right, so she said anti-Tory. So here is, hold on. Oh no, I can't. Hang on a second. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about Money May. So maybe I can play this. Let's listen.
Pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military industrial complex benefits.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm gonna play all of that because we've gotten a strike, but this is a very viral video. Like, I've seen this many times, many times. So let me ask a question to the audience here. Let's ask this question before I go on with the story. Let's do a more interactive show today, and I'm gonna probably be on another 20 to 30 minutes here. Let's do a more interactive show. What's so far, because I know a lot of you probably have already read more and seen more about the story, and you're just here to kind of talk about it with other people. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts? Would a person like this, what makes this suspicious to me is that he did this and the industry knew of this a decade ago. Why would they bring this up unless it's because of what he's been doing lately? And specifically talking about what he said in this video about the pandemic. Just saying, it seems very fishy, but give me your opinion. Give me your opinion in the chat, and I'm gonna throw your comments up right now because I want to know what everybody thinks before we move on to the next story. I'm sorry, not the next story. Before we move on to the next receipts for this story and then the next story. Wow. Okay, that's weird. I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to get your responses in, and then we shall do here. All right, so I'm gonna also say this while we're waiting for everybody to get their responses in. It's kind of crazy here. It's crazy. I'm about to put up on the screen. We have over 800 people here this Saturday afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in the world. But we only have 270 likes. That is incredible here. 270 likes. So let's get a target of 600. Oops, that's wrong. We've actually had 2,100 people slide through to watch. So thank you to the 2,100 people that has been here at some point or another. But let's get to 600 likes. Hit that like button. Much appreciated. We're way too low at 270. Now we're approaching 830 people watching. So hit that like button. Let's get to 600. We could probably do it very quickly. And let me change my. Is that a good one? I think Savvy uses that one a lot. I don't like my face so close to the screen. I like this one better. So let's try it. Let's go with this one. All right. So you hear what he says there. Would this person be a target? And let's now go to your comments. And then, so let's go to your comments right here. The misinformers call the truth disinformation. Crazy, but I have to agree with Voss. I said the same thing. This is weird, but I'm agreeing with Voss in this particular specific instance. I think it's convenient timing. You always need to be careful, but too much of this goes on tipping the scale. Yes, this is why, approach stories like this with caution, information, truth seeking, because of what the ruling class in the state does to co-opt actual victims and use that to target people like a Julian Assange. We have to always have that here right next to us when examining stories like this, in particular with people who criticize the state, because a lot of this comes out and it's not people who criticize anybody. You get what I'm saying? Like this comes out, sexual allegations come out, and it's not a person who's criticizing. That's a person like this who's criticizing. We have to be very wide-eyed about this. Let's do this one. Remember how everyone claimed Richard Gere pulled? Oh, I should have screened that one, man. Let's see here. Anybody else? Any other comments? Here goes one. I think this is total BS against Russell. It's because a pretty transparent tactic. It's become, a pretty transparent tactic. Yes, and this is why we said we have to approach this with caution. And this is Rick's comment. Just because he's been right on a lot of things doesn't mean this story can't be true. As always, we'll see. That is true. That is true. That is absolutely true. So, Russell Brand is a left-winger reaching a right-wing audience, and he has the potential to pull in people from the old left, so the partisan divide is gone with him, and he preaches political coexistence. And another thing about the story is that Russell Brand wrote about this apparently in several books. You kind of gave the ruling class, if this is a smear thing, let's say this is a smear thing, you kind of gave them a roadmap to create, to go out and get the receipts they need to make this looks real. So they'll go and talk to all the people you were sleeping with to find stories like that. So, and then they have an actress play it out, which to me is stunning that they have an actress play it out. All right, it looks like we got a couple of super chats. Let's go to those. Nina, Vaush is being sarcastic, not genuine. Oh, he's being sarcastic. I didn't. So thank you. I'm glad we're all here to realize that he's being sarcastic. I thought he was being genuine. Here goes Jack's pay. Now you saw me. I showed your tweet earlier. And thank you for the super chat, Jack Page. Article is heavily biased and slanted, highly suspect. Thank you for the super chat. All right, now let's continue with some more information about the story. I got any more receipts. So I got that one. And then this is on, that's the same article from the Times and the Sunday Times. So that's the name I was trying to figure out, but it was behind a watermark on the video. And here's Molly Jo Fast, and I know you know her. She appears on MSNBC. She is a vote blue no matter who. She is that person. She's part of the establishment to try to push culture, all of that. Well, now we know what he was trying to get ahead of. See that? I show. Oh, no, this is a different tweet by The Surf. So let me read this one too. Russell Brand is claiming that two major media outlets are about to release rape. Oh, this is so he got ahead of it. So the one I read to you from The Surf was the second one. This is the initial one they put out. Rape allegations against him that he categorically denies. Furthermore, he is already framing it as a potentially getting too close to the truth. Truth being, what does this mean? You see how they dumb it down? Are you serious that that's all this is about? You just gonna make this about COVID wars? I'm not interested in the COVID wars. It's so insane to me. I'm so turned off by the COVID war nonsense that still is going on now. Here is, I don't know his name, but no lie with BT. Brian, I think Brian something. He says Russell Brand, a former actor turned conspiracy theorist, beloved by MAGA, all types of propaganda tactics in this. Beloved by MAGA, he's trying to attach MAGA to this guy who's attached to these allegations, you see? Has just been accused by 4 women of RAPE and sexual assault, including a teenage girl when he was in his 30s. So now let's see what else is hot on the Russell Brand. And then we're going to finish up. The Barack Obama thing is really just showing a tweet and finish up here in a second. Let's get to 600 likes. Don't forget to do that. 600 likes. We got plenty of people. We can do that in literally 5 minutes. Let me make this smaller here. And we're just searching through some of these I've already read. So like the Surfs I just went by, we've already read. Trap House Queen enthusiast Russell Brand, if a sex trafficker and a guy who exposed himself to a flight attendant are defending you, I think it's pretty safe to say, what? Because somebody's defending them? Elon Musk and Aaron, because two whack jobs are defending somebody, that makes the point moot. That is so, who does that serve? Who does that serve? Like Nick always says. This Russell Brand story is rough reading, a small ray of light. Hats off to this taxi driver. He tried so hard. I see targeting Russell Brand for challenging power. I read that one from Gracie. I was really looking for more video content, like if people are commenting on this on the video, but it doesn't look like I'm going to find that. Stop taking illicit drugs. Stop drinking alcohol. Oh, sorry. It says Russell Brand stops taking illicit drugs, stops drinking alcohol, gets divorced from unhappy relationship, and leaves the whole Hollywood life behind, gets remarried, totally in love, and has 2 children with another on the way, leads a completely different life and begins a podcast, tells the truth and exposes the system and narrative, and now gets attacked. But so does his wife and children. To those on here literally vibrating with excitement, eagerly awaiting another downfall, you will be next. So this is what happens to the point that person is dead. Oh, here goes some of the allegations. No, this is another actress. We're not playing the actress things again. We're not doing the actress things again. But I'll read it. All right, denies allegations. 5 women share their stories. Watch. Let me hear what it's saying. It is an actress, but let's see. It's the same clip from the actress. All right, so I don't think, and we're going to go to the article now. This clip is why Russell, this is another person saying, this clip is why Russell Brand is being attacked.
You just get the fuck out of here. This is not the...
Out of respect for you and your show, I've brought some facts. Would you? If you like, they're actually...
You just get the fuck out of here. This is not the place.
I thought you'd like facts.
No, we do. We love facts. I love facts.
I wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm English, and you know that politeness is our fundamental religion.
Yeah.
But they do pertain to this issue. So may I say some of them? If they inconvenience you, I'll stop saying them. The pandemic created at least 40 new...
We saw that video. So it looks like we don't have any new videos. And there goes Jack's page again. You saw the super chat from Jack's page. So let's click on this article. I'll bring it up. I mean, we've covered most of what has happened. We're not watching any actresses' videos or anything like that. Is this going to come up? Hang on a second. I don't think this locks you out. We'll see, though. Actually, yeah, that's why I was looking for a video. Now I remember. I think it does eventually lock me out when I was trying to read it earlier today. So I think that's what happened. I was trying to read it earlier, but we're going to see. We'll read as much as we can until it blocks us out if it hasn't done so already. So here is the article. I guess let me put the link in the description. I'll put it in the description for those that are here watching with this. So, like I said, we don't know the truth yet. We're waiting to see. We're just proceeding with caution because we know what the ruling class and the deep state is known to do. This is a classic. If that's the case, no determination is made. But if this is determined to be a smear job, this is a classic thing that they do to smear those. All right, so I put the article that I'm about to read in the description box. The link is there if you want to read along. You see the headline. I'm not going to, I'll read part of it. Russell Brand accused of RAPE, sexual assaults and abuse, 4 women, including one one who was just 16 make allegations after an investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times and Channel 4 dispatches. So it says Channel 4. So now you see why that other person was saying Gracie, the tweet we were reading, she kept referring to Channel 4. That is obviously a network in the UK, I'm assuming, or somewhere over there, where they're investigating this. Is he from the UK? Is that where he's from? The comedian and actor Russell Brand. I know you can't see this, but I'm getting a pop-up. I got so much damage on my computer. I need another laptop. That's why I need to fundraise. So the reason it works better now, I had to move my station right next to the router because it still buffers sometimes, but it's a lot less. But anyway, the comedian and actor Russell Brand has been accused of RAP, sexual assault and emotional abuse during a 7-year period at the height of his fame. 4 women have alleged sexual assault between 2006 and 2013 while he was a presenter for the BBC Radio 2 and Channel 4, and then an actor in Hollywood. Oh, so he was a presenter for Channel 4. Others have made a range of accusations about Brand's controlling, abusive, and predatory behavior. So a classic sign that this is a smear job in me, a classic sign that this could be, let me say it that way, is that if they're saying he has all of these allegations and RAP is the most significant, but everything you're showing me is just people talking about the bad sexual experience they had, that's not the same thing as, you get what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you talk about the most significant charge the most if that's the case? You're concentrating and have all the evidence and all this emotional testimony with the music playing and the actress. The testimony is not about the rape part. The testimony is about everything else, is the point that I'm saying. That's also a telltale sign that we must look for. Brand denied the allegation and said his relationships have all been consensual. The findings come from a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4 dispatches. Okay, so let's read this one here. One woman alleges that Brand RAPED'd her against a wall in his Los Angeles home. She was treated at a RAP crisis center on the same day, according to the medical records. So there's medical proof. Text messages show that in the hours after leaving his house, she told Brand that she had been scared by him and felt taken advantage of, adding, quote, "When a girl says no, it means no," end quote. Brand replied saying he was very sorry. A second, wow, that's all the details they had on that. Maybe they're doing more of a, like a 1, 2, 3 girls. So let's do that. I like how they do that for the sake of the time of the show, not because of the story. It puts it in a very easy to read of all the allegations. A second woman alleges that Brand assaulted her when he was 31 and she was 16 and still at school. She said he referred to her as a child during an emotional and abusive and controlling relationship that lasted for about 3 months, and that Brand once, quote, forced his penis down her throat, end quote. I think that's what the actress was. So one of the actors was reading this allegation that I'm reading now was the video actors were watching, making her choke. She says she tried to push him off and said he had had to punch him in the stomach to make him stop. Let's go to the next one. A third woman claims that he sexually assaulted her while she worked with him in Los Angeles, and that he threatened to take legal action if she told anyone else about her allegations. And then a fourth described being sexually assaulted by Brand and him being physically and emotionally abusive towards her. All say they felt ready to speak only after being approached by reporters. this is what I was saying. He put the map in his book. All they have to do was go through the book and find the people that he was referring to in any stories he put. Several said they felt compelled to do so, given Brand's newfound prominence as an online wellness influencer with millions of followers on YouTube and other sites. So that's, and then they have the picture, of course. So you can go read this on your own if you like. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to bring up Twitter and just show you the tweet from Barack Obama. We're going to close that segment. I'm going to show you the tweet from Barack Obama for this next segment. Oops, I guess I got to go back here and then go to Twitter. I didn't have a Twitter tab up. This was the Twitter tab, but I switched it. So we're going to cover the Obama story and how he's getting completely destroyed, like everywhere. But yeah, let's hang on a second here. There we go. And then let's go to my bookmarks. Obama. I think it's this one. I'm gonna check both tabs here, but yeah, here we go. And thank God.
Decided to take a sip of coffee and thought
Thank God Nico House put this in the video. Makes this segment and this story a lot easier to do. Getting lucky today. First, the news column put everything in a particular order, and then this. So we're gonna get to that story, but a couple of announcements. Here is our website. Make sure you check out our website. Lots of new things going on. If you're in Boston and you want to be part of the Boston chapter, or if you need something done in Boston, we do have a mutual aid form for the Boston chapter where you can go on the website, fill out the form. Hey, I need help with cutting grass. I'm elderly or disabled. Can you help me with cutting my grass? That form, once you fill out, goes to Sabby. Sabby tries to find somebody or someone or herself to go fulfill that mutual aid request. So go to our website and you can get and check that out for yourself. Here's our Patreon. Become a Patreon member. I believe we have 4 tiers. The lowest, or you can make your own. We do have the ability. We do give you the ability to make your own tier, and I think the lowest you can make is $2. So if you want to make $2 tier, you could. But anything you contribute, go to. We divide it amongst all members, and Erin, our one and only employee, she gets an equal share of the money from Patreon because she does a lot of good work for our graphics and our editing. So make sure you take care of her. The other thing is something else. Oh, they're fundraising. Sabby and Rome are fundraising. I don't think they have the graphic out yet, but they're fundraising for a clinic in Boston. So Rome wants to open up different clinics, and I guess this is going to be the first one that's happening in Boston. So make sure when you see that fundraiser, it hasn't been announced yet, I guess. When you see it, make sure you contribute if you are able to. We have 470 likes, everybody. Before I start the segment, let's make sure we get to 600. We know what the target is. We've had 2,800 people bounce through at some point to watch this stream. That's right, 2,800 people at some point has come through to watch this stream. I believe we got up to about 845 people watching all at the same time. So those are the numbers down low. 471 likes. The target is 600. 2,800 people have come through at a certain point. We've had about 845 people all watching at one time. That is the peak. We've had no new super chats. Let's go ahead and get to this final story, and then I'm going to be out. I have to go pick up my mom and sister coming over for the first time to see our place since we moved here. My wife finally have lifted the ban, and we can now have people over now that she has it like she wants it to be. So here we go. The audacity of Obama on Libya, and here is Nico House.
So some idiot journalist woke up in the morning, decided to take a sip of coffee, and thought to himself, it seems like a good day to tell a lie about what happened in Libya. So this columnist for the Washington Post had the audacity to say that the catastrophe in Libya was everyone's fault. And I'm here to tell you, he's full of shit. Like, porta potty fixed right in between the taco truck and the coffee stand at Coachella levels of full of shit. First of all, the ongoing catastrophe in Libya is happening solely because of the US and NATO working to assassinate this man, the former leader of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. In 2011, the US and NATO powers decided to kill Gaddafi because they claimed that he was bombing his own people and wouldn't let them decide their own destiny, which of course, once again, is a lie. Let's start with the Gold Dinar Initiative. In 2009, Gaddafi met with the African Union, which he was currently president of, and proposed a plan where they used gold and oil-backed currency so that they would not have to purchase oil from America in any capacity going forward. Had Gaddafi not been assassinated, this would have likely come into fruition because he was extremely popular across the African continent. And he was beloved by Libyans and Africans everywhere because he instituted popular policies like free water, almost totally free gasoline, and even free healthcare and education. In addition to all of those popular policies, he also virtually eliminated jihadism in Libya. Through the release of Hillary Clinton's emails, we found out that the US and NATO figure out about the plan for the Gold Dinar and decide to do something about it. Coincidentally, once the US discovered this plan, rebels from Chad, a country that was mostly controlled by NATO, and the country bordering Libya, end up wreaking havoc in Libya, and of course Gaddafi was forced to defend his country. And that was the excuse NATO needed to claim that Gaddafi was bombing his own people, as they then proceeded to bomb Libya for 8 straight months. And NATO said that they had to bomb Libya and assassinate Gaddafi because it was a humanitarian crisis. But what actually happened is jihadism ran rampant after Gaddafi died, and open market slavery was brought back to Libya. And the US, France, NATO, and everyone involved in the assassination of Gaddafi have had zero to say about it. So no, the Libya disaster wasn't everyone's fault. It was the fault of the same people who caused most of the problems in socioeconomic disasters around the world.
The capitalists. Shout out Nico House for that video.
So
he
some
summed it
idiot
up and
journalist
makes it easy for me in this segment. So here's the tweet that everybody's talking about, and here's the tweet from Obama, this jackass right here. Let's read it. If you're looking to help people impacted by the floods in Libya, check out these organizations providing relief. What organization is that? Can you see that? Can y'all see that there? That's the Obama Foundation. Emergency and relief workers are on the ground providing urgent aid in the aftermath of the catastrophic flash floods in northeast Libya. The toll of this natural disaster is unimaginable and support is desperately needed. Is a charity run by Libyan young people living in Britain. Really? You fucking jackass, man. So he gets dragged. Like dragged. I mean, it's pretty bad. We'll read just a little bit of them, not all of them, because it's way too many. I'm glad Ben Norden is the one who pops up first, because he has one of the better responses, and then we'll get out of here. Maybe I'll just read this one because his response is so good. As U.S. President, Obama oversaw the neo-colonial 2011 NATO war that destroyed Libya's state, killing independent leader Muammar Gaddafi, who led a revolution against a Western puppet monarchy. NATO brought slavery back to Libya. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Obama left out that part. And here is some receipts here. Step down, Obama tells Gaddafi. The U.S. has ramped up pressure on Libya's Gaddafi as President Obama Thursday told him to quit. He said the U.S. was considering every option and didn't rule out the possibility of military intervention. Obama approves airstrike against Libya March 19th. That's political. Obama defends military intervention in Libya. U.S. president says war will be better off with Gaddafi out of power, but removing him by force would be a mistake. Execution, torture, and slave markets persist in Libya. And Obama says this: you fucking jackass. You fucking jackass. And here's where I got the name from. Here it is. Barack Obama, the audacity is right. And that's where we're going to leave it. I think that was a good hour show. I played about 15 minutes of intro video, and then I did about an hour of the show. All of you have been great in the chat. So much conversation going on. Let me check and see where we are with our likes here. Let me check and see. It was interesting to find that Status Quo and Jordan Sheraton and Jen Perlman are also not down with Peter Dow being a part of this Green Party push. He's going to turn off a lot of people. If you don't care about that, it just is highly suspicious that the campaign, Cornell campaign, doesn't care about turning off so many people with this. We're going to do what we want. Okay. All right. You can do that if you want. All right, so we are at 511 likes, about 89 more to hit that target. So 89 more to hit that target, if you will. Here is the fundraiser we're running for Aaron. GoFundMe. We're more than halfway there. Last time I checked, we had $440. The target is $775. And we do these fundraisers for her every month to pay her a adequate what did she say? Fair labor. That's what it is. The phrase I was looking for. Fair labor value for the work that she helps us with, which is graphics like these. I'll show you some of the other ones she's done. Of course, she did the one for today. This is another one she did. And here's even another one she did. So several ones. And then video clips that she does all the times for us. Like I said, Patreon is the best way. Become a Patreon member. Greatly appreciated. I'm going to be checking out. I believe Nick and CJ will be back on Monday. I'm sorry. Tomorrow we have the JB show. Nick and CJ will be back on Monday. On Tuesday, the Post Duopoly show will be back. So we have a lot of great content coming up for all of you. Hopefully you like this. Hit that like button on the way out. We're almost to 600. Greatly appreciated, everybody. And I am going to be exiting and then going to pick up my mama and my sister. Celebrate her birthday. Should I play this video from The View? No. What video can I play here? Not that one. Let's go UAW. Let's see what's the latest going on in UAW. Let's close out with the UAW clip. That's not long enough. His is only a minute. That's breaking news. Status Quo. Status Quo's out there. Let's. Well, we don't want them just shouting them out, nothing like that. We're trying to get. Okay, auto workers took major. All right, so let's watch this one. Here is Democracy Now! Video talking about the UAW.
Alex Press. So you've got the three targeted plants. In Wayne, Michigan, Ford, 3,300 workers. In Toledo, Ohio, 5,800 workers at Stellantis, makers of Chrysler. And in Wentzville, 3,600 workers striking against GM. Explain this overall strategy and then how it could expand to over 150,000 workers.
Sure. So as we've heard, it's called the stand-up strike. That's what the UAW is calling it. It is never tried before, right? You know, it's a callback to the union's origins, which were in the Flint sit-down strikes, right? There are these incredible photos, you know, that you can find in archives and the history books of workers sitting down in the plants. They're reading newspapers, they're drinking coffee. They wouldn't leave, right? This was a targeted strike on particular plants that the entire supply chain, the entire supply line for auto relied upon. And it was an enormous success. It built the UAW, it inspired copycats in other unions, and it largely reignited and built the 20th century US labor movement. So Shawn Fain has said, this is our generation's answer to the sit-down strike. Now, right now, as we've said, there's just under 13,000 workers on strike. This is an escalation tactic, right? Shawn Fain has said that not only once a week, but several times a week, he could call out new plants. Every time one of these companies gives an insulting proposal at the bargaining table, Shawn Fain and the leadership can stand up and say, all right, new plants are out. You know, it's this increase of leverage, right? You know, there are risks, of course. I mean, 150,000 person strike all at once certainly would be powerful. It would be important for the workers because it would be such a mass of them. They'd have their communities with them. You know, it'd be so visible. But at the same time, it's very expensive. So these workers right now are still earning paychecks, and the workers who are on strike, they're getting money out of the strike fund, $500 a week. But this helps sustain the strike, right? And so I think, you know, so far we've seen, I was a little bit of a skeptic about this, and we've already seen that it's paying some dividends here. You know, there have been a lot of reports from UAW members in certain plants that their plant management has been given fake lists of what plants are going to be targeted, that it's messing up the supply chain, that there's sort of confusion and panic among the companies. And so this is really, I mean, to use a war metaphor, it's guerrilla warfare.